The enjoyment I get is that these young men, Nick Doohan, Wayne Gardner, Freddie Spencer, Valentino Rossi, with my support and help and perhaps a little bit of guidance, I don't know, have been able to achieve their dream of being world champion.
The checkered flag is raised. Doohan wins the Czech Grand Prix and the world crown in the same breath.
Side by side, Valentino Rossi wins the race. He wins the world title. What a MotoGP event!
I arrived into the championship in 1980. I landed in the United Kingdom, in England and London, and everything was a little bit expensive, and I was staying with a friend of mine who said that they were looking for a mechanic to work with Randy Mamola at Suzuki. So I was lucky enough to be given the job as a mechanic working with Randy. Always the riders that I worked with were very dedicated to winning races and to winning championships. In particular in 1985 working with Freddie Spencer when he won the double championship of the 500 and the 250. And then I was asked to manage Wayne Gardner, the Australian. For sure, for an Australian rider winning the championship, it was a big thing here in Australia. For me as a crew chief, it was obviously my first as a crew chief. And you know, I remember with very fond memories the race in Goiânia in Brazil when Wayne won the championship. For 3 years with Wayne, Honda asked me if I would look after a new young rider that they had signed, and that rider was Nick Doohan in 1989. When things were going very well in 1992, Nick had the accident in Assen and we missed the championship by 4 points. However, I think it made Mick very determined, very strong. He knew that he had won Grand Prix and he knew what it took to probably win the championship. And we had a difficult year in '93, but from '94 till the end of Mick's career, we were able to amass the 5 championships, and it was an absolute pleasure to work with Nick Doohan.
Doohan is the 1998 world champion in the 500cc class. 5th consecutive time he is the champion. What a race, what a year, Michael Doohan.
With Valentino was when Mick was injured in '99 and announced his retirement. Honda had been looking for a rider for the future, and the obvious choice was the young Italian Valentino Rossi. Valentino has great humanity. He is a very humble person. He never raises his voice. He's exactly what the public see of Valentino is exactly Valentino. There were times in the past when we struggled in qualification or whatever, and or the practice, and when we got to Saturday night and everything was against us, we would have the long meeting, the 1 hour meeting, or 1.5 hours, and he would say exactly the right thing, and we were able to make the change overnight, improve the bike for the warm-up, and win the race from 9th, 10th, or even as far back as 13th, I remember in the Saxon Ring one time. So those moments remain special to me, of course. I was so fortunate that all of the riders had the determination to want to be the best. And when you have a rider who is seeking that sort of result, you know, you all work very hard. He's working extremely hard, and if everything works well, you will achieve the goal of winning races, and if you win enough races, you will win the championship.
Valentino Rossi becomes the world champion 2009, his 7th MotoGP crown and his 9th world title overall.
A good rider can win on a bad bike, but a bad rider will never win on a good bike.